What you're forced to do, especially at the early stages, is be a human jukebox, basically. You know, and they want you to play everybody else's music except yours, you know. So you have to play everybody's stuff. And like you said, if you don't play it right, man, they let you know it.
James Travis Tritt, born February 9th of 1963, is a multi-CMA and Grammy Award winner, with 7 of his albums reaching platinum status.
Playing at the Ryman Auditorium. I mean, this is the birthplace of country music, you know. When my mother was pregnant with me, not long before I was born, she and my father came up and saw one of the last performances of people like Hawkshaw Hawkins, Patsy Cline, here at the Grand Ole Opry. I wasn't born at the time, but I think, you know how babies listen to music, and music has always been something that's in my blood, and I think, you know, listening to it, even at that point in my life, had an influence.
Warner Brothers Records executive Danny Davenport paid out of pocket for Travis to record a demo album titled Proud of the Country, eventually landing Travis a full record deal.
I know there's some rhythm and blues in your musical sound. I know from Georgia that runs through it, but kind of let's find out where you started from. You said something to me about starting singing gospel music?
Yeah, I started out in church, actually. Well, as far back as I can remember, I've been singing even before I can remember. My parents tell me stories about going down to Florida and on a vacation, and leaving me with the lady that ran the hotel that they were staying at to babysit me, and coming back at like 11:30 or 12 o'clock at night, and me out standing on the diving board by the swimming pool singing over the PA system. You know, I remember the first time that I was really ever bit by the bug. I was 4 years old, and I was raised. My grandfather was an Assembly of God preacher who's retired now, but he taught me how to put expression into what I did, and just being around those people in that church taught me how to sing from the heart, sing with soul. I mean, for a long time it was, you know, it was, what a friend we have in Jesus, you know. And then later on, I started hearing all these black choirs and stuff singing, wow, what a friend we have in Jesus. All our sins and griefs to bear, you know, and that just sort of struck a chord in me, and it's like, man, this is where it's at.
I also found out something about you in your bio that was pretty amazing to me, that you wrote your very first song when you were 14 years old.
14 years old.
Do you remember the song?
Oh, yeah, I do it from time to time on our shows from time to time. It's
You do?
Yeah, I've told this story a couple of times for some of the people that haven't heard it. I was 14 years old, and I was dating a girl that was a high school senior, and so that got me in trouble. You know,
well, then, yeah, that should have told you something right there.
She invited me to go with her on her senior trip down to a little place called Gulf Shores, Alabama, down to the beach, and yeah, some Alabama people. And so we went down, and the first day I got down there, she dumped me for a lifeguard.
Well, I can't see that.
And so I was, you know, here I was, a 14-year-old kid, heartbroken, just completely heartbroken. So I went back to my room, and instead of wasting the entire trip, I got my guitar, and I went down at 3 o'clock in the morning and sat on a lifeguard stand and waited for the guy to show up so I could beat him over the head with my guitar. No.
But you do that song?
Yeah, I do it from time to time.
On stage? Well,
After careers in the supermarket and AC industries, his debut album was released on Warner Brothers in February of 1990, having 5 successful singles and music videos.
The song that really broke me to the country audience was our first single, which was Country Club. I think a lot of people have a misconception about my music, and they think that I'm just strictly a Southern rocker. I'm a country. You know, I was influenced by Merle Haggard, George Jones, and other people. There are 2 or 3 different sides to what I do. There's a soft side, there's a ballad side that covers songs like Help Me Hold On and Drift Off to Dream. And that side was influenced by those people that I just mentioned, Larry Gatlin, John Denver, James Taylor. And then there's another side of music that I do that was influenced by more traditional country people. And then the side, like to put some drive in your country, was influenced by the Allman Brothers, the Leonard Skinner. So it's a lot of different things, and I think that's the thing that makes me and my music different than a lot of the music that you see out there right now, because we don't just do one style. We're influenced by a lot of different styles of music. Dwayne Allman was the brother of Greg Allman. He was killed in a motorcycle crash, unfortunately, in Macon, Georgia. Was just a tremendous, probably one of the greatest slide guitar players that's ever lived or will ever live. And the kind of music that they did, it was a mixture of rock, blues, soul, gospel. All those things rolled into one form. And I grew up the same way with that kind of music as my influence.
Back in Georgia, when I first got started playing, we played every beer joint, bar room, honky-tonk place. And I kid people all the time, because we played places that I'm sure like you have too, where if you didn't have a gun or a knife at the front door, they gave you one so everybody be equal. You know? And every time I found out that in the places that you least expected and at the times that you least expected, people that can make a big difference in your life, in your career, if music's what you want to do for a living, can be there anytime. And it makes no difference if you're playing in front. I've seen a lot of guys who play a weekly gig at a club and they get tired of it, you know, after a while. And they might be in there one night, you know, standing on stage, they got their hip cocked to one side and they're tired of playing, and they've been playing the same place for maybe a month, 2 months.
Where can you get a gig like that?
I know 2 or 3 places, I tell you. I can tell you where you get fired from them, too.
My husband is a police officer there, and he come by on a loud...
I didn't do it.
He come by on a loud disturbance call, and at that point he didn't know who you were because he doesn't listen to country music very much. But then a couple of weeks later he was seeing you on TMT, and he said, that's who I seen, and I went to the call on, and he said, I asked...
Woo!
He said,
tell it all, brother, tell it all.
At that point, he didn't know who y'all were, but someone asked him if he wanted your autograph.
What were we doing now?
You were practicing. You had rented. You were at somebody's house or something.
Okay. Well,
and he come by.
You were disturbing the peace, Travis.
Oh, I thought, yeah.
And you said you were practicing, that you were the one on the drums.
On the drums? Yeah, I beat on a lot of things in my life, but never a drum, I don't think. I'm probably, we've had several situations where we rehearsed and somebody's called the police out, so. Yeah, that's back in the old days.
What, last summer, back in the old days?
Day before yesterday.
Excuse me, do you remember this event she's talking about?
No, I don't remember this particular event, but I know I had several. We used to rehearse in my basement when I was first getting the band together, and we had several people in my neighborhood that wasn't in Hendersonville, Tennessee, that was in Marietta, Georgia. We had several people in my neighborhood who were not very happy with the fact we were rehearsing.
A lot of the audience that grew up listening to Southern rock music also listens to country music as well, and they're coming over into the country music scene by the millions, really. I want everybody to enjoy what I do. I think that's a problem that I have with my music a lot of times is I have a real tough time reading reviews where they don't just love me. I want everybody to just love me to death. The song Here's a Quarter called Someone Who Cares was a song that I wrote pretty much based out of frustration.
A question I want to ask is, how many of you folks in here have ever been married and divorced before? Anybody? Congratulations. I myself am 28 years old. I have been married and divorced twice now. And I have decided that I am never, ever, 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 ever going to get married again. No, I found a way to save frustration. Instead of getting married again, I'm going to go out every 5 years, find a woman I cannot stand, and buy her a house. That's what I'm doing. I wrote a song after my last divorce was over with.
I did a little bit of this song for Johnny Carson and Ed McMahon on The Tonight Show last year because I figured if anybody knew anything about divorce, those two guys did. The young lady at the beginning of the video, the bus pulls up, all the guys in the band get off the bus, and they're all greeted by their wives and girlfriends and so on and so forth. And poor old lonely Travis gets off the bus and waves bye to them, and there's my ex-wife standing there who has cheated with every guy in town, and she's asking to come back, and I toss her a quarter, and it goes from there. It's really a thrill, and it's a turn on, the fact that women like what I do, and I'm very, very glad for it. I think outside of the music industry, I don't think I would be quite as appealing, probably. It's a real thrill to me to know that women dig what I do.
Travis, welcome back to the show, my friend.
Thank you. It's been a while.
It has.
How you doing?
Hi.
But at the same time, I want an audience of both genders. You know what I mean? I want everybody to enjoy what I do.
One of Travis's biggest moments was doing Bible Belt for the hit film My Cousin Vinny. The film's theatrical run would bring in over $64 million, with its VHS sales being one of the highest of the year. Travis would then appear as himself in performance on another hit film, Sergeant Bilko. Travis would go on to have a number of acting roles, ranging from Diagnosis Murder to Tales from the Crypt.
The movie you did with Kenny, was it Rio Diablo?
Right.
Kenny Rogers?
Right. Kenny Rogers and Naomi Judd and Stacy Keach.
When does it come out?
Yeah, that'll be out, I think, February the 28th, which is movie of the week for CBS. It'll be a Sunday night, I think, following Murder, She Wrote. That sounds like a commercial, I know, but
That's a great slot to be in.
It really is.
What kind of character do you play?
I play the part of, starting out, my character changes. I play the part of a young guy from Georgia who is basically moving out to West Texas to pursue a new life. He's a farmer in Georgia, decides he wants to go out there and start irrigation ditches and all this stuff and farm. And he gets married to a young Mexican girl, and everybody thinks he's crazy because he's wanting to farm. He's a real nice, relaxed, easygoing guy. I loaned a lot of myself to that part of the character. And then his wife, on the day of their wedding, his wife is kidnapped by a band of outlaws, and he becomes a very angry, revenge-driven young man who goes chasing after this band of guys who have kidnapped his wife.
Okay, are you and Kenny Rogers on the same side?
Pretty much, but we don't like each other very much when we first meet up. Kenny is a bounty hunter who's out chasing the same group of people that I'm after, and he and I don't. He thinks of me as just a young kid who's kind of in the way. And I think of him as a kind of a crusty old guy who just doesn't care anything about life itself, doesn't mind killing somebody at all. It's a very different role for Kenny and very different thing for him to be doing. I tell you, this is the best, not to say that I haven't liked anything that he's done in the past, but this is the best acting Kenny Rogers has ever done.
This will be in February on CBS.
February on CBS, February 28th.
In June of 1992, Travis had his first bite of controversy, as he was critical of another rising star, Billy Ray Cyrus.
My dad, when I was a kid, he had a lot of different bikes, but the bike that really impressed me the most was a lot bigger and a lot heavier than this bike. I finally, on my first record deal, I made enough money to go and buy my first motorcycle, and I wanted one just like his. And I bought this thing, man. What I didn't realize was I really wasn't skilled enough to really ride it, you know. So I get on this thing, and, yeah, I'm Travis Tritt, country star, I can do this, no problem. And I get on this thing, and I almost ran out into the street, and there's a big semi coming by. So I took it across the street and circled this little office part, and I came back, and I said, Dad, help me out here. You ride it home, and I'll just follow behind you. How about that? I'm a full-grown man, that's plain to see. But nowhere near as full-grown as I'd like to be.
For a long time, Harley Davidson was kind of an outlaw image, and your music has a lot of that play as well.
You kind of like that, though.
Yeah. You've got a song, Outlaws.
Yep.
Hank Williams Jr., Waylon Jennings.
Yep.
Yes, I love Hank Williams, but I still love rock and roll. Hank Jr., me and Waylon, we're all cut from the same mold.
How does all this play to your music?
Let me tell you something about outlaw. I've been labeled an outlaw because of my music being a little bit on the edge.
Yes.
And having a lot of rock and roll influence. And if you're just talking about musically, I love the term outlaw because it sets me apart from the pack.
This ring that I'm wearing now is a ring that was given to me by Gary Rosington, the lead guitar player for the Leonard Skinner Band. And this is actually an elk. When they're killed, they have 2 teeth that are ivory.
I ain't got me nobody. Said I don't care it, said I don't care it me. Said I don't care it, said I don't care it, said I don't care it me.
One of Travis Tritt's highest charting hits would be The Whiskey Ain't Workin', a duet with Marty Stewert.
I'd heard a country club over at Warner Brothers for Travis, and I told my publisher, I said, you need to send this over to Warner for Hank Jr., this new guy, Travis Tritt. I really like his singing. And Travis got it. He beat Hank to it, and I'm glad he did.
The new guy.
Yeah, he did. And he sang it the way it should have been sang. So he did the song way too proud.
The song was a Grammy Award-winning smash hit. The duo would go on to record another single, titled This One's Gonna Hurt You. However, it was not as well received. Plans to record full-length albums with the duo never came to be.
Travis got the idea to use Marty on the record when he first heard his demo. Things just kind of progressed from there.
Did a great job on picking. We thought, did such a good job on that. Let's let him sing harmony. He sang some harmony. Did such a good job on that. Give the boy some voices.
So now you have Homer and Ginger.
We met last year at the CMA Awards and basically just came up to each other and exchanged pleasantries about how much we enjoyed each other's music. And
it was the truth. It wasn't just
it was very much true. And then he sent me the song for The Whiskey Ain't Workin', which he had written, and I just loved it. And we started working together and talking about the possibility of performing together, and one thing just led to another. It's turned out to be the No Hat Tour.
Yeah, the No Hat Tour. We'll get to that in a minute. You know, when 2 artists like yourselves, both doing very well in the industry, all of a sudden, you know, how do you get together enough in order to write songs and even perform on tour together? Because
well, I'll tell you what I was watching now. I always, it seems like every Monday there's 5 or 6 new stars that come out of Nashville. And I check them all for style. Who's got staying power, who's got style. And the first time I heard Country Club, I said, uh-oh, this one's gonna be hard to keep down. There was a great voice there. And when I saw him on Johnny Carson the first time. And he handled himself so great, I thought, this boy's a star. The cat is a star.
To date, Travis has released 12 studio albums, and countless greatest hits packages have been made from his more than 40 chart-topping songs, achieving over 12 million units sold. He has also released several home videos on VHS, Laserdisc, and DVD, all of which have gone gold or platinum.
Travis, I don't know how many awards you have won, but I have one for you tonight. I have one from your label. It's a gold sales award. This is not a record award. It says this is, I'll show it to you in a moment. It says, presented to Travis Tritt to commemorate the sale of more than 50,000 copies of the Warner Brothers long-form video, It's All About Change.
Oh, that's great. That's a surprise.
So you can add this to your wall.
You better believe it. That's wonderful.
Where do you display things like this?
I just bought a new house and down in Georgia, and
Where?
and I've got a display case that I had made that I keep all of my awards in, and that'll definitely have a good spot right there in there. I guarantee.
Where do you call home?
I call home. It's actually a place called Hiram, Georgia. It's about 45 minutes from where I grew up in Marietta.
Are you married?
No.
Would you like to be?
Travis has been divorced twice, but lives happily with his current wife Teresa Nelson, whom he married in April of 1997, having 3 kids. Travis has won 2 Grammys, 2 from the TNN Country Music Awards, 4 awards from the Country Music Association. He has been nominated dozens of other times, and in 1992 he became a member of the Grand Ole Opry. As of 2024, Travis is performing a series of one-man acoustic concerts. He is scaling back his touring days, and works more on his gospel music career. But he has no plans to retire for a long time.